Welcome back, everybody. Civilization 5 winter is coming, and in the last video Khal Drogo declared war on the Tyrells, although the Tyrells do have that buffer zone of the Lannisters in between them and the Horse Lords. And in the north, the Tyrells have gained themselves a large foothold of Mance Rayder's territory, as have the Lannisters, although the Northerners have done a fantastic job of holding them at Arrek and Deepwood Moat. For about 10 turns, the Lannisters have been stalled here, making very, very small gains, just to have them recaptured by the Wildlings. You can see the Lannister navy now turning up, when they were at risk of losing Herolf, and they sent the navy north. But to be honest, if the Dothraki do want to sail across the sea and take on the Tyrells, they will have a field day. Look at all of these undefended cities. Look at the size of this Lannister navy. Not really sure what they're doing with it. It's kind of just sitting moored around Casterly Rock. Interesting. So Arrek has now finally fallen to the Lannisters, and it looks like the majority of the Northern army has been scattered. And this could be the beginning of the end. Once these forces here have been taken care of, that is a huge chunk of Mance Rayder's army and production capability wiped out. Although look at this line of defense here. If they try and hold at the wall, they may do it. Oh, and look at that. Lannister has come up with his usual trick of beating someone half to death, then suing for peace for a huge chunk of the remaining territory, which they have. They made peace and took Svarit, Harrond, Lasthart, Grunmere, and Balvir. Wow. Oh, and Little Sister. And Will. What a move by the Lannisters. That leaves Olenna Tyrell still at war with Mance Rayder, and it'll be interesting to see if she's going to try and pursue this, because if she tries to beat her head against the wall for any length of time. So the Lannisters doing what the Lannisters do best, which is making peace at the right time and taking huge tracts of people's land. Look at the size of this navy, to be honest. Just this navy is going to prevent the Horse Lords from getting across the ocean. And to be honest, I think this one is a foregone conclusion now. Tywin is in such a strong position. It's going to take an absolute miracle for someone to be able to supplant him. It was looking like it was going to have to be Khal Drogo for a while, but he doesn't have the military strength anymore. Especially not now that Tywin's just taken a huge chunk of the north. I wonder if the Tyrells... Yes, it looks like... I was wondering if the Tyrells had open borders, and it looks like they do. It looks like the Wildlings don't have open borders from the Lannisters. The Tyrells, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to make landfall with this army and continue the war with the Wildlings, or whether they'll just be happy with what they took. Which, to be honest, was quite sizable. It was Newkeep, Sisterton, Vigan, and White Harbour. So they didn't do too badly out of the war so far. They are still at war, so it will be interesting to see what comes of that. Red Lake finally fallen to the Dothraki. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see whether they decide to go across the sea to press the war, or whether they just accept the gains that they've kicked everybody out of Essos. Braavos survived, which is not a surprise considering it's very well defended. And now it'll be interesting to see what Tywin does, because if he can bring this northern army south in short order, he could declare war on the Tyrells. Mance Rayder took a huge hit in power now there. I'm surprised Stannis is still in this as well. He's only got Gulltown. Is his only city, and I'm just surprised that he's still around. Nobody decided to take him out. Everybody tried. They managed to get them out of Sharp Point and Dragonstone earlier on. They haven't been able to wipe him out completely, which was surprising. And now I think we're winding down to the end. There's just 25 turns left till we crown the king. And then we may go ahead and just simulate another 100 years to see what the map looks like at the end. I may do some time lapse with that, just so you can get some better closure. So it'd be nice to have the map all a single colour, but it would be interesting to see how many turns that would take with AI smartness. So obviously right now, what would be the smart thing to do is put a huge army across this border, declare war on the Tyrells, and sack literally everything. So that's everybody kicked out of Essos now. Dothraki is still gathering forces on this western coast. At least moving people towards the western coast. It will be interesting to see. I don't think he's going to be able to take Dragonstone. There are just too many ships in the sea for that. He may be able to make an attack on Cider Hall. It'll be interesting to see what Mance Rayder does as well. I'm pretty sure he's out of the game now. But again, if the Lannisters do decide to turn on the Tyrells by putting an army on this southern border, Mance Rayder could use that opportunity to make an attack. And see what happens. But it looks like the Lannisters are building up a force in Essos now. To be honest, no matter how many forces Tywin Lannister puts in this little area here, it would not be enough to take out the Dothraki. He definitely does not have the forces for that. Even though he's ahead in score by about 1,200. Sorry, not 1,200, 900. Don't think he's got the military might to be able to topple the Dothraki. Just look at the amount of Blood Riders that they have. And the legions. It's almost overwhelming. And it looks like Olenna is not wanting to continue this war with Mance Rayder for some reason. It looks like Khal Drogo isn't bringing the war to the Tyrells either. So it looks like everything, after all that action, kind of just petered out a little bit. And this may be the long drawn-out whimper that ends the last 21 turns. That would be a little bit of a disappointing end. But like I said, we'll have some closure. I'll try and simulate as many turns as I can until we run out of time. It's obviously simulating turns takes a long time. Looks like nobody's really interested in taking... Well, here we go. The Tyrells are moving some forces towards Red Lake. Let's maybe try and retake that. And the Dothraki are stationing some troops in the Narrow Sea. You can see Tywin has just filled up Blackwater Bay with a huge navy. No one's going to be able to get a navy in on King's Landing. Storm's End, on the other hand. And there we go. Olenna has made peace with Khal Drogo. That just leaves Olenna and Mance Rayder at war. But again, nothing's really going to come of that, I don't think. I think this is just going to be the long drawn-out whimper that ends the campaign. Or is it? Drogo's declared war on Stannis, and Tywin has declared war on Stannis. So maybe this is the end for Stannis Baratheon. The Lannisters are sick of the usurper, and they're going to come for him. So maybe in the last 19 turns, we'll get some action here. But to be honest, Gulltown's going to be quite difficult to take. Only one land tile, although the Lannisters have this navy here. But if they don't have open borders with the they clearly do have open borders with the Tyrells. But if they didn't, now I think the Lannisters are easily going to take Gulltown before the Dothraki can get there. And they're still moving forces over to the west, the Dothraki. Oh no, there we go. They look like they're repositioning. Everybody heading back to their respective cities for garrison work. And we'll see how quickly the Lannisters can take down Gulltown. Trying to eliminate some of the forces first. They've got 3 ranged ships and a lot of land. Braavos has declared war on Mance Rayder for some reason. Can't see anything really coming of that. And this is the war to watch now. Can they wipe out Stannis Baratheon? And they'll probably do something similar to Mance Rayder later down the line. Finish off Stannis like this. And once Mance Rayder has recovered a little, go back in to finish him off too. Gulltown's starting to take damage now. Almost all of Stannis' forces have been crushed. This is only going to last a few turns, if that. Tywin Lannister is going to be able to take this very, very quickly indeed. Gulltown repairing a little bit. It's not going to be enough. They've got a lot of these Drommonds in range. They do need at least one melee unit available. Oh, they have plenty of melee units here actually. Sworn swords. And these ranged ships. Gulltown lost about a third of its hit points in a single attack there. So you can imagine only a couple more turns. And that'll be the end for Stannis. No other wars going on, so this is all we can really watch. There isn't really anything else to talk about. The Dothraki made peace with Elena. She's still at war with Mance Rayder though, I'm pretty sure. She's got a big army here. She may want to march this through Tywin's lands. And this could be the end for Mance Rayder as well, because that is a huge army compared to what Mance Rayder has. There we go. Gulltown is down under half health now. It's going to be interesting to see if Tywin can take this turn. He has 3 ranged ships. Some crossbowmen here, but he's going to need to put some sworn swords onto the land. Well, Gulltown was able to take out the sworn swords, thanks to the fact that they've got that trebuchet in the north. Tywin is going to need a melee unit to be able to take this town. He's got some bannermen here, but they're going to be attacking from the ocean. They're going to get a huge attack power penalty. The trebuchet is making a run for it for some reason. I mean, you can kind of understand that it would probably get taken out otherwise, but it's literally the only thing keeping Stannis in in the game right now. Is the fact that he has that trebuchet there defending him. And Gulltown, and so Stannis still holding on by his fingernails. He's got a fiery red hand and a red crossbowman stationed in Gulltown. Trebuchet is making a run for it. Nope, he's made landfall again. But he's not going to be able to get to attack. And this could be the turn that Stannis bites the dust. Although, there we go. Stannis Baratheon has fallen, the usurper. It only took 488 turns. And he is done. Out of the game. Tywin gains a little bit more power. Up north, look at this army here. The Tyrell's making a big push for Mance Rayder. But to be honest, if they don't hold King's Landing in 11 turns, they will lose. Thanks to the rules that we imposed, that they have no idea about. I'm guessing if they knew about the rules, they probably would have made more of a push for King's Landing. In fact, that would be quite a nice little victory condition to add to this scenario. I think the mod maker, if the mod maker could add that in the scenario, that have one of the victory conditions, whoever holds King's Landing after a set amount of turns is the winner. That would be pretty cool. But again, would the AI recognise that and make a push for it or not? Well, we'll get through the last 10 turns, and then we'll go ahead and inevitably crown Tywin Lannister the victor. And then we'll probably go ahead and simulate maybe 200 turns and see where we are at that point. Wow, there's a lot of troops on the move for Tywin. Maybe they were just coming to be back up for Gulltown, and now that Stannis is gone, they're just reorganising themselves. Or maybe they're going to come down south and make a move on the Tyrells. Only 4 people in this now. Tywin, Drogo, Olenna and Mance. Although Mance is nowhere near the other two. Got around about half the power. Probably going to be less soon. As you can see, the Tyrells have arrived with an army. A half-health army, though, at that. For some reason, not attacking these crossbowmen here, taking damage as they go by. And then they're going to have to try and fight their way through the Shadow Tower, Castle Black and Eastwatch. I know in the show and in the books, these aren't defended from this side. You can just march in free of charge, but that's not what it's like in this game. In this game, attacking from this direction is just as the same as attacking from this direction. So I don't think the Tyrells are going to be able to get through these towns that easily, considering the amount of defensive strength that they have is quite formidable. And there we go. Look at those war mammoths just absolutely wrecking the Tyrells. Shame Mance Rayder can't get out through the Lannisters' lands. Or else he could probably do some damage, because these war mammoths are absolute beasts. Literally and figuratively. Yeah, 26 military strength for a war mammoth, compared to these Reach Knights of 20 military strength. Yeah, these war mammoths are quite the opponent. And these long swordsmen, 21 military strength. You can see how the wildlings held on for so long. Battering Ram only got 14 military strength, mind, so it doesn't look like Mance is using giants anymore. I'd be interested to find a giant and find how powerful they are. So it looks like Mance Rayder does get some advantages, just the fact that those war mammoths are so strong. I'm not seeing any giants anywhere, so I can't make a comparison to how powerful they are. But I can imagine that a giant's probably almost comparable to a war mammoth. The Tyrells made this foolhardy push for Castle Black and just got absolutely wrecked. And this army here, again, sitting, doing nothing. It needs to make its move for Queen's Crown and Carhold now, or it's not. They're not going to have time. even though the prize, the jewel, is right here, King's Landing. Don't think Elena's going to make a push for it. Just 5 turns left. I know the video's due to finish. I don't really want to leave it on a cliffhanger, even though we all know how it's going to end, so I think we'll just make this one a little bit longer than normal. And we'll push this right to the 500 turn limit. So we'll power through these turns. Not that we haven't been powering through them already, but it shouldn't take too long. Because there are less empires to get through. Looks like the war elephants have been dealt with, but look at all of these battering rams. I'm surprised that Maxwell is making so many battering rams. They've only got a military strength of 14. I guess maybe they're cheap. And look at this. Lannister's plopping down a citadel just to claim some extra territory. And here we go. Mansfield has broken off some forces defending Eastwatch and brought them to Castle Black just to repel the Tyrells. And we're coming into the final stages now, just 3 turns left. And this army's started to march into Lannister lands now. But it's going to be too little too late, and Elena didn't get anywhere near as much as she could have from this war. I'm guessing she's trying maybe to make peace and asking for too much. And because the Northerners had already given so much to the Lannisters, they were unwilling to part with more. Seeing their military strength compared to the Tyrells, thinking that they could do battle with them, and do battle with them they can, holding off very, very well. The real disappointment in this battle, I think, was Daenerys Targaryen. She did so well at first, capturing this area here, going to war with the Dothraki early on and then beating them back. But then when the Dothraki had a mind to it, they just absolutely overran her. And now Khal Drogo is a full 1,000 points behind Tywin's score. I know score isn't necessarily a great measure of military strength, but at least gives you an idea of production capacity and military capacity. If you've got 10 cities, you can produce 10 bannermen at once. Compared to if you've only got 5 cities, you can only make 5 bannermen at once. And just 2 turns left. And this is it. This is the last turn, ladies and gentlemen. And then we can go ahead and crown Tywin Lannister the winner for the fact that he held King's Landing for the entirety of the game. It was close, though. At one point, he did declare war on the Tyrells and lost Bronzegate and Cornfield. And if he hadn't made peace quickly after that, he would have lost King's Landing, Ashmark and Lannisport as well. And considering that he declared the war, that was a real foolhardy move. And there are some forces from the Tyrells gathering on this border now. It would be interesting if all of these forces that are in and amongst the Lannisters decided to declare war on the Lannisters. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Turn number 500 by our own rule stipulation. Whoever holds King's Landing by turn 500, we will declare the winner. So the winner is the Lannisters. But that's not the end of this series. We're going to produce at least one more video. And I'm just going to power through around about 100 turns. If it's not too boring and not too jumpy and jittery, I'll maybe bring you a time lapse of that. Of those 100 turns. Obviously moving the camera as slowly as possible. Or else it may make some people motion sick. But yeah. So I'll maybe bring you I'll bring you one more video, maybe a time. It'll either be a time lapse of what happens in those 100 years, in those 100 turns, or I'll just bring you a video showing what the aftermath of those 100 turns are. I know which one I prefer to do, but if it looks terrible and jittery and makes you motion sick, then I won't bring it. So thank you very much for watching this series, everybody. If you'd like to see more of the Civ 5 AI only stuff, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll maybe look at doing another one. Maybe not necessarily Game of Thrones or anything. Maybe we'll just do like maybe a World War II scenario, or a prehistoric Europe or something like that, where everybody starts in true start locations, something like that. We'll maybe do something like that in the future if you guys enjoyed this series. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for sticking through all of these episodes, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.